Hi, I'm Carl from the Wix Answers team. Today, I'll be showing you how to configure an IVR and make sure that your inbound calling users get to the right agent. In this video, I'm going to assume that you already have purchased your first phone line and that you already have a few agents added to your call center. When I start creating an IVR flow, this is going to be the press 1 for a certain option, press 2 for a certain option that we've all interacted with when we've called inbound to a support center before. Let's get started. To begin creating an IVR flow, I'm going to go to Settings, Call Center, and IVR Flows. I want to create a new IVR flow today that's just really basic, just so we can get a feel for how this will all work. I'm going to create a new IVR flow, and I'm going to call this General Inbound IVR. Now this is going to be as basic as it gets. I have the option here to add a welcome message, which is going to be what the user hears when they pick up. We have the option to use text-to-speech here, so I can say, "Hi, thanks for contacting Travelberry." Press 1 for sales. Press 2 for billing. This text-to-speech, it works pretty well. We always recommend that you record your own audio file to put in the IVR. This will give the most professional experience. For the sake of the demo today, though, I'm just going to use this text-to-speech just so we can visually see what the IVR will sound like. I'm going to press Save there, and I'm going to press Done. Now that I've set my welcome message, it's time to start setting the actions I want to take off of the user input. So I'm going to click Add User Input here, and when the user presses 1, I can either play a message, but in this case, I'm going to route to the queue, and that's going to be sales. Once I have that there, I'm ready to add the second input. So when the caller presses 2, we can route to the queue, this time billing. So per my message, 1 for sales, 2 for billing. If they press that option, they get routed to the correct queue. And as simple as that. We now have our first generic inbound IVR. Now this is really good for a simple application when maybe we have teams really designated towards dealing with the entirety of sales or the entirety of billing. Let's say that our call center has scaled up and we now have more specific departments inside these areas of concern. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create 2 more IVRs. I want to create an IVR for sales. I want to create an IVR for billing because I want to have multiple layers of digit input. Think of this as a tree. I want to start them asking if they want sales or billing, but then I want to ask them more options after that. In this case, I'm going to create a new IVR flow, and I'm going to have 1 for sales, and I'm going to have 1 for billing. For the welcome message, I'm going to start with billing here. I'm going to add a simple message, something along the lines of, "Thank you for contacting the Travelberry billing department. For an order you've recently placed, press 1. For a chargeback, press 2. For all other questions, press 3. Once I'm happy with this message here, I can press Save and then Done. And just like I showed you before, we're going to mirror these inputs. So when a caller presses 1, we're going to route to a queue. In this case, for a recent order, we're going to put that into the default queue. When a user presses 2 for chargebacks, we're going to make sure that goes to the billing queue. And if a user presses 3, we're going to route to the miscellaneous customer queries queue for all other options. Now that I've done that here, my billing flow is complete, and I'm going to move on to sales. I'm going to add another welcome message that says, "Hi, thank you for contacting the sales department. If you are a customer of Travelberry, press 1. If you are a vendor, press 2. Now that I've completed my welcome message, I'm going to add the input actions here. So for my first input action for press 1, if they're a customer of Travelberry, I'm going to route to a queue. And in this case, I want them to go to the sales queue. If it's a vendor of Travelberry though, let's say for instance, I have another phone number or another department or maybe even another company that processes these sort of requests. I actually don't want this call to go to any of my queues, but I would rather route it to an external phone number. In all the other examples before, we've routed to a queue. In this case, I want to route the call to another phone number. Once I've saved this IVR flow here, I now have my sales flow and my billing flow. But now I have no way for my users to get to this flow. So I want to go back to my general inbound IVR and I want to modify a few things. Now that my call center has grown and scaled, I want to make sure that rather than just sending calls directly to the queue, whether they're routed to 1 or 2 for sales or for billing, I now want to send this IVR to another IVR. This is kind of like Inception for IVRs, but it will make sense very easily. So now, rather have the same message coming in. When for sales, press 1. For billing, press 2. But rather than routing directly to the queue, I'm going to route this to another IVR. And for 1, aka sales, I'm going to route it to the sales flow and press done. For 2, I'm going to route this to an IVR and I'm going to route to the billing flow and press done. Now we'll have that nested tree of an IVR that we're looking to create, and we'll have multiple tiers of options guiding the user down a path and helping them find the exact help they need from the most capable agent. As soon as I press save here, we're done scaling up our call center and all our IVR trees, and now this is live and ready for my users to start calling inbound. And that's it. Within a few minutes, we created our first IVR flow. And stay tuned for more tutorials like this one. Feel free to email hello@wixanswers.com. You can also go to the Wix Answers Help Center.